let's not get too lost in the dark stuff. I've only mentioned that because I think it's important to point it out. And I don't think you can really be mindful and not be an activist. Yeah, Thich Nhat Hanh was a great peace activist. I think the Buddha was an activist. If you are compassionate, if you feel deeply, then you are compelled to act and behave in certain ways. And that may be to the detriment of your career or chasing after what you thought you wanted. Did they teach you how money was created at school? Did they teach you that? I think they teach you something useful, isn't it? Money. Do you know how money's created? You know. You created a bit in your time, haven't you? Money is created out of thin air by private banks. It's not old lady savings they're lending you. When you take out a mortgage, you know what a mortgage means? Mortgage? Death pledge, yeah? When you take out your death pledge, how did they persuade you that was a good idea? Oh, I can't wait to get my death pledge. When you take out your death pledge, it creates a credit on this side of the bank account and a debit on this side. And a bank credit's money. It's effectively money. So that money was created through your debt. Now, 97% of money is created. There are certain limits on what they can create, but 97% of money is created out of thin air through the issue of debt. 3% is notes and coins, it's physical. But 97% of money is created out of thin air. Now, since debt carries interest, it means that it's a mathematical impossibility for the debt to be paid. Isn't it? Can't be. Because there's always more debt than money. Which means... repayment as well. You're always repaying it. You're repaying nothing, yes. But actually when you've repaid it, it's disappeared. The money's effectively disappeared. But the interest means that it can never really be repaid. Which means over a period of time, all the proceeds from your labour, from your enterprise, from your creativity, from all your hard work, all of those proceeds are sucked off to the money masters. And they control everything. Which is why 43 people now between them own half the world's wealth. 43 people. They didn't get that through honest hard work, I can tell you. Mm-hmm. They got that through enslaving the rest of humanity into their system, and half the world's wealth's not enough for them. They're coming for the other half fairly soon. So it's pretty critical that we wake up. Yeah. Actually, I do own nothing and I am happy. So what can they do to me? Oh, you never really own anything. Yeah. But getting angry about it doesn't help, and I think we've got to be very careful that you don't fall into that trap, because, as I explained, reality is created energetically. Right? You don't want to be creating a world from anger. You don't want to be creating a world from fear. You don't want to be creating a world from lack, which is why everything's designed to keep you in fear and lack and anger. It's not a helpful vibration to create from. You create from presence, and that brings into being a very different reality. When I was a boy, a very long time ago now, when the world was black and white, it was black and white in those days. Didn't get colour until 1972, did it? But there used to be this programme on television called Tomorrow's World. Do you remember that? And they looked forward to the world, the distant future, the year 2000, way, way, way in the future. And in the year 2000, the world was going to be amazing, right? Because there'd be robots that did everything. You remember? Yeah, you had this little robot that did all your cleaning and your hoovering and folding everything up and putting everything away, and it did the windows and it bathed the kids, and it was just amazing. Yeah. There'd be no more boring work because a robot would do it. I mean, the more dangerous work because a robot would do it. There'd be no more work because a robot would do it. And it was going to be great, right? Because there'd be no more work. And we're all going to live in this wonderful world where we're free to create and be abundant and share in the benefits of this technology without being driven by the burden of work. Why not? Why not? The technology's here now. It's already here. Why not? Because you've been indoctrinated into a slave mindset, that's why not. All that's missing is the mindset to bring about that shift. And that's why you're here. And that's really what we're going to be working on for the rest of the weekend. I'm done now. Any questions? Loads.
So does that need to be en masse then?
No, it is en masse. It starts with you. And you're already affecting people with that mindset, aren't you? It's already happening. And we have agents embedded everywhere in the system. We got mindful bankers. We got mindful doctors. We got mindful teachers. We got mindful therapists. We got mindful builders, man. Police. God, we've got senior police officers as part of this conspiracy to destroy the system one smile at a time. Now you bring about change in your family, and that changes everything. It's bottom up. This is not driven by some technocrat telling you how to live every tiny aspect of your life and control every part of you. It's about you taking control of yourself, taking back that authority. And if you're driven from mindfulness, driven from compassion, you don't need laws, you don't need regulations, you don't need people to tell you what to do, because you are managing yourself. You couldn't behave badly. It would offend you. And that filters through families, through communities, and I think places like this is the model. Yeah, where they, it's the opposite of communism. They do things together, they do things themselves. They take responsibility for themselves. And actually living in a commune like this, you really have got to take bloody good responsibility for yourself. Yeah. Well, in the world that you've created, yes. But it's already here, isn't it? There's nothing physically needs to change. Now, this, I think, is the way. They use their own skills, they develop, and communities, rather than top-down autocracies.
When do you think this started?
What, the ego?
The system of... do you think it was always like this, or do you think it came over time?
I think it's... no, it's not always been like this. I think there was a period in human history where we weren't troubled by the ego. And I think sort of lots of religions... The story of Adam and Eve, I think, relates to that. They ate from the tree of knowledge. The learning was born. The voice appeared in their heads. And in so doing, they lost connection to paradise. Yeah. That separation occurred.